I continue my interpretation and exegesis, if one might use the word, of Hegel's logic. And I'm in the introduction, the Allgemeiner Begriff der Logik, the universal concept of logic, and Hegel says that ordinary logic, common consciousness, presuppose that there is a distinction between form and content, that when we think about an object, it is just a formal thought, and that the content, the object which we think about, is different from the thought. So we have in our ordinary consciousness, we have a one-sided view of thought and a one-sided view of the object, because we presuppose that the object exists independently of our thought, and that a thought is just a thought. But the entire purpose of Hegel's logic is to logically prove the identity of thought and being. And for Hegel, that which is just what it is not real, because the notion of the real within Hegel's logic presupposes that something is what it is only in its unity with its opposite. So a thought which is just a thought is not a real thought for Hegel, but a real thought is a thought which becomes real, which has become manifest. And idealism in philosophy presupposes that the world is the mind made manifest, and I am an idealist. And a real idealism presupposes that the world is the projection, the manifestation of the mind of God. And when we elevate our thoughts, when we think conceptually and in a speculative manner, we can penetrate into the mind of God and unify the thought of God and the thought of the world. And the modern empirically minded physicists, they are surprised to discover that through a thinking activity, they discover that what we call matter, the physical world, almost completely disappears in the mind of the physicist. So materialism in the realm of modern physics, empirical physics, is in the way of dialectically abolishing itself, because the materiality of the world vanishes through the activity of the physicist. That's a dialectical irony, because materialism is the fundamental determination of modern science since Newton and Descartes and Bacon and then Locke and the development of modern physics, Newtonian physics, and the dialectical development of modern physics produces its own Aufhebung, its own negation, and modern physicists become more and more idealist in a way. That's quite ironic. Hegel says that we presuppose a totality, a whole, which is the world, and a thought which is empty. So we presuppose in our ordinary consciousness that there is a world standing outside of ourselves, independent of ourselves. So we are spontaneously realists. We believe that the world exists independently of our consciousness. And that when we think about the world, we add a thought extracted from the world, but which is not connected to the world. And Hegel wants to show that this view of things, which is ordinary consciousness, must be refuted through the realm of the self-development of logic, which is the identity of thought and being. And truth, the formal definition of truth, is the adequation, the agreement, the adequate understanding of the thought and the object. Veritas adequatio rei et intellectus. I think the truth is the adequation of the thinking activity and of the object. And something is called true in the ordinary sense, in the sense that the mind puts its representation, its theoretical consideration of the object that it is thinking about in accordance with, in adequation with the object, which is thought, which is not a thought, but which is being thought about. In English, that's a play with word, because when you say the object is being thought about, you say the object is thought. So by using the English grammar, that's comical. By using the English grammar, you express the Hegelian idea that the object is a thought, because when you think about the object is thought. That's a nice trick. Okay, Hegel says that classical metaphysics, and I would like to remind to those who watch this that metaphysical is the Greek derivative word to express what in Latin the same roots called supernatural. So people are fascinated by the supernatural and they are bored by the metaphysical, but they don't understand that they are one and the same. So yeah. Metaphysics, classical metaphysics, presupposed and believed that we could know the truth about objects, the world, the soul, God, the thing in ontology, and any object by thinking about the object, by exerting a rational activity, by transforming the given object, or that which is presupposed by the mind, into a reflected object, by bringing forth a reflection upon a mirror image, a conceptual image in the sense of the modern definition of concept, namely a thinking determination of the object. So classical metaphysics believed that we could grasp the truth about objects only by thinking about them. And modern physics is a byproduct of the negation of metaphysics, but the modern physicists tell us that what we see is not how things really are, but that in truth we must think about the immediacy of the objects and to transform the phenomena into thoughts, and that what is around us, what is surrounding us, and that which we are a manifestation of, according to modern empirical anti-metaphysical physicists, are the four fundamental forces and the laws of nature. And the physicist, which is an anti-metaphysician in the modern world, he transforms through his thinking activity the given world into a set of laws, a set of forces, a rational order, which is only graspable and conceptualizable, capable of being conceptualized by the mind. So that's a trick that we find in Hegel's phenomenology of spirit, is that there is the world of immediacy, the world of phenomena, and the mind transforms, the scientific mind transforms in a reflective way this world into another world, into a mirror image of the moving and changing world, into an unmoving, unchangeable world, which is the world of the laws of physics or the laws of biology. And this realm of laws, this realm of thought, is the fixed, the set, the immovable image of the changing and moving reflection of it in the world of phenomena. And what the physicists and the biologists and all the scientists, the empirically minded scientists, don't understand is that by transforming the immediacy which is given, a sociological situation, a biological environment, a physical object, by transforming it into thoughts, they bring forth the very structure of their mind into the phenomena, so that they equalize the representation, the thinking representation of the phenomena and the object into the form of their own thought, because they make the object be impregnated by the structure of their mind. And this is what Kant said, and most physicists, they are vaguely Kantian in the sense that they believe that the categories are within our own mind. So that's a trick which is difficult to understand, but it makes a lot of sense, is that by transforming the world by a thinking activity, we equalize the world with the structure of our mind, and that which we find beyond the phenomena or inside the phenomena. For instance, in physics, the forces, the laws, or in sociology or in economics, the laws of supply and demand, the laws of biological evolution, they cannot be seen. They cannot be the laws of the solar system are not written in the sky. They must be transformed and grasped by a thinking activity. But by transforming the world, we implement our own thinking determinations and the very structure of our mind onto the object. So we equalize the object by transforming it through a thinking activity with ourselves. So what we see with the eyes of the mind behind the phenomena or inside the phenomena or beyond the phenomena is our own mind and the own categories of our own mind. And that's why materialism transforms itself into idealism in an unconscious way. And Hegel says that men are metaphysical creatures, and even when they reject metaphysics, they are still unconsciously metaphysicians, because we possess a mind which is above the material world. And yeah, and I would like to end this video by putting the link to 2 songs by Lady Gaga, Poker Face and LoveGame. And in Poker Face, she says, when it's love, baby, when it's love, if it's not rough, it isn't fun. And the reason why we are on this earth, I believe, I'm not sure, but there's a very likelihood that it is so, is to transform our experience of the world into thoughts. And the more we understand rationally the external world confronting us, the more we love, because true love is intellectual cognition and intellectual recognition. And I made videos in which I said that in my best moments, I could envision and understand modern pop culture as being a manifestation of absolute spirit, and it is very difficult to imagine that the modern pop singers that everyone loves, or loves to hate, but mostly love, they are Platonic archetypes. They are Platonic ideas made manifest, and Plato said that beautiful women and beautiful art was a trick of, he didn't talk about God, but a trick of the idea of beauty to make us look at the beautiful things. But it was only a trick because the purpose was to elevate the soul by the physical attraction and the sensuous attraction, to elevate it to the thought of the beauty, the intellectual beauty. And the more we understand Hegelian logic, the more we understand modern pop culture as being a manifestation of a divine idea. And everyone, or many people, love Lady Gaga as a great artist, but the more you penetrate into logical abstraction, the more you understand the idea that she embodies. And it's very difficult to grasp, but when you do, you feel an intense feeling of love, because you understand the artist and you understand the genius of God. And I love Lady Gaga, and she's a very Hegelian artist, because she's a unity of opposites. She's twisted, she's funny, she's lovable, she's beautiful, she's creative, she's Hegelian, and she's divine. And yeah.